Alright, good evening folks, it's Enforcer Matt and welcome back to another short war video, and today we have very big news coming out of Iran yet again. Today we're getting breaking news that the US president is calling for the unconditional surrender of Iran amidst more major Israeli strikes across Iranian territory, and we're also hearing that right now at this very minute, US officials are meeting to discuss entering the war against Iran and helping Israel strike the Fordo nuclear facility, which is heavily fortified, and we've also gotten word in the last couple of hours of massive force deployments by the United States, including our top fighter jets to the Middle East, and we've also gotten groundbreaking information right this second that Russia has allegedly abandoned Iran and is refusing to help them in any meaningful way at this very moment. So it sounds like it's a bad day for Iran all the way around right now, and we have very big news on every topic in the Middle East. So jumping into our first major article, this one goes to Disclosed TV. And this is probably our biggest story right now of the day. The United States president on social media is calling for Iran's unconditional surrender as of this moment, and this is a very big bombshell claim and request right now by the US president. And of course, this goes in contrast to some reports we had heard before that the US president wanted to keep talking and negotiating with Iranian officials, and it appears to be that time is now officially over, as he is calling for the unconditional surrender of the Iranian regime. So a very big bold claim right here. Not really sure where this one's going to go, but we're currently watching this and seeing it. It was just tweeted out or also posted about an hour ago, so we've not heard a response from Iran about the situation, but we are seeing a massive piece of news from the United States president. But jumping into our next article here, this one goes to FITUX News. And not only is the United States president calling for Iran's unconditional surrender, but we're also seeing right here in this post that the US president is also seriously considering joining the war and launching a US strike against Iran's nuclear facilities, especially its underground uranium enrichment facility in Fordo, according to US officials telling Axios News. So that's another big one right there. Of course, we've heard in the background that Israel is begging the United States to come in with the bunker buster munitions using the B-2 stealth bombers and strike the Fordo nuclear facility, which is heavily fortified, and only bunker busters can actually destroy that facility in its entirety. And we're currently awaiting a decision by the US president to join the war on Israel's side. So right now it is a 50-50 chance. We're really not sure where this is going to go. It appears likely that the US is going to join, but right now it's still speculatory and we're still trying to figure that out. But it does appear it is getting more and more likely the US is going to join the situation, especially after hearing the calls for an unconditional surrender by the US president. So very big news on that front. But jumping into our next article here, this one goes to FITUX News yet again, and we've also gotten big news and corroboration coming from Israeli officials. And we can see right here in this post that Israel believes the US will soon join in on the attacks against Iran, a senior Israeli official tells Khan News. Now, of course, that is another indicator that the US probably will join the war on Israel's side, because it looks like Israeli officials are repeating that claim that the US is going to join the war very soon. So that is a very big estimate, and of course it does appear to be the most likely estimate, but still it is speculation as of this moment. So with that, jumping into our next news article here, this one goes to Open Source Intel, and we've gotten some more news about massive force deployments by the United States into the Middle East. And as we can see right here in the post, B-52s have been deployed to Diego Garcia, which is an island out in the Indian Ocean, if diplomacy with Iran collapses, according to a Pentagon official. Now, as you can see right here in our one photo that we have from satellite, there appears to be B-52 bombers right here on the runway. There appears to be about 4 of them, also about 6 F-15s that we can see down here in the bottom right corner, as well as 6 KC-135s and also 1 C-5 over here in the corner as well. So it appears to be that Diego Garcia is currently stacked. It's very much stacked right now, and it looks like there's a lot of assets sitting on this air base ready to respond in case the US president gives the order to join the war against Iran. So a very big presence at Diego Garcia right now, and of course that is another big story coming out of that region. But with that, it's now time to move into our next news article here, and this one goes to OSINT Technical, and we've also gotten word of more deployments that we're seeing right now by the United States into the Middle East, and we can see that in this post, the major flow of US Air Force aerial refueling tankers to the Middle East continues into the afternoon, with many operating at altitudes to tow along fighter jets, which right now that appears to be the case. It looks like we're dragging in a lot of fighter jets along with these aerial refueling tankers into the Middle East. As you can see right here, there appears to be one over the Netherlands, there's one flying over near Austria, as well as Romania, Croatia, Italy. We're also seeing one flying over toward near Greece as well, and their destination appears to be definitely the Middle East. So that is where they're heading apparently, and we're seeing a lot of deployments right now to the Middle East. So everything once again is stacking up to US involvement, but once again, only time is going to tell. But jumping into our next post here, this one goes to OSINT Defender. And in this post right here, we have a very interesting post from the United States President president yet again. I'm going to go ahead and read it off to you right here on the screen. The United States president said, "We now have complete and total control over the skies of Iran, and Iran had good sky trackers and other defensive equipment and plenty of it, but it doesn't compare to American-made, conceived, and manufactured stuff, and nobody does it better than the good old USA." Now, one word I want you to focus on there. He said, "We now have complete and total control over the skies of Iran." Right now, White House officials are saying that the "we" in that post is referring to the United States and not Israel. So the U.S. president is claiming that the United States has full control over the skies of Iran. Right now, we're not really sure what that consists of because the White House officials did not provide details as to exactly what that means, but it sounds like we could already have a presence in the skies of Iran that has simply not been reported on just yet. That is a real possibility as of this moment, so it is possible that maybe we've already entered the war and we simply haven't heard about it yet, and we will very shortly. So that's another big piece of speculation right there coming from the U.S. president's post. But jumping into our next one here, this one goes to open source intel. And also, we've gotten big news from Israeli security officials today saying that tonight is expected to be a significant night in Tehran, which is the capital of Iran, of course, and early signs show that Iran is beginning to lose control, including over its missile launch systems. And that would be corroborated by the fact that these recent attacks on Israel have been very small, only about 10 or less ballistic missiles in each volley, and that is a dramatic reduction from the original attacks that we saw in the first place that consisted of 40 plus ballistic missiles in the first ones, and now they're appearing to wane down quite a bit, and the number of ballistics being used is reduced quite dramatically. So it looks like this Israeli report is definitely true. It looks like Iran is beginning to lose control over their missile launch systems. But also, we have some more devastating news for Iran in our next post here, which also goes to open source intel, because right now we're hearing that Israeli estimates that Iran has about 1,800 missiles remaining in its arsenal as of this moment right now, and that is a much more reduced amount than we thought, because we thought they had more than that, but it sounds like Iran is down to its last 1,800 missiles remaining in its arsenal. So that is not a good sign for Iran, and even though they have these missiles, right now Israel is doing such a good job of taking out the launchers, I'm not even really sure if they can launch all these missiles if they wanted to. That's another big one right there. They're running low on missiles, and they're also running low on launchers, and it's getting to be a really desperate situation for the Iranians right now. So I'm not really sure where this is going to go. Of course, Iran looks to be on his last leg here, but they might have some fight left in them. There's no telling, but right now Israel's expecting to take out the remaining missiles and launchers right this very moment. So very big news on that as well. But jumping into our next post here, this one goes to open source intel yet again. And we've also gotten a bombshell piece of news involving Russia and Iran's relationship. Right now we're hearing from a source close to the Kremlin. They are claiming that Iran has not asked for Russia's help, and Moscow has no plans to offer any assistance whatsoever. Even though they just signed a security pact with each other, it looks like the Kremlin, good old Putin, is deciding to abandon his good buddy the Ayatollah in the Middle East. So once that happens, Russia being a major defense partner of Iran, that is a pretty much death sentence for the Iranian country and the Iranian regime. So I'm not really sure what Putin is thinking with this one, because he just literally signed that security pact with the Iranians, and it looks like, according to the reports right now, Moscow is backing out completely. So it looks like Iran could be left high and dry right now with no assistance from any country of a meaningful sort. So that's a very big story as well, and we'll have to wait and see if that pans out. But jumping into our next post here, this one goes to Clash Report. And meanwhile, in the skies over Israel, in the last 2 hours or so, we did hear of a new attack and sirens sounding in the southern regions of Israel near the Beersheba, Dimona, Yerucham, Arad, Lakia, and Hura regions. And we do see here on the map that there were a lot of red alerts in that area of southern Israel that we can see right here on the map. And of course, that did cause a bit of a stir earlier with the Iranians launching a brand new ballistic missile attack on these regions of Israel. So moving into our next post here, we actually have some footage showing interceptions over southern Israel right here in these videos. So let's take a look and see the missiles being intercepted by the Iron Dome system. So you can hear the sirens in the background, and there appears to be some type of trail of a missile smoke right there, and it looks like maybe an interceptor that went up to go get one of those missiles. But as you can see right there, there was an interception on that video. But let's jump into our second video and see what happened in that one. And as you can see right here, another view of the sirens going off and also the missiles as well being intercepted. And just another angle of that to show you the view of the interceptions in place over the skies of southern Israel. And that did happen about 2 hours ago, and it looks like there were no direct impacts reported that I could tell on my end. But jumping into our next post here, this one goes to open source intel yet again, and we've also seen some wild footage right now of some sort of Iranian warehouse being struck, an Iranian warehouse that was used by the military, and it looks like it caused a massive explosion, and we have it here on camera to show you all. So let's take a look and see what happened here at this warehouse. It appears to to be in maybe Ifshan, it appears to be, but we're not really sure just yet. But let's take a look. So as you can see right here, there's a massive explosion in that warehouse, and as you can see, the cameraman is clearly very shaken up by that. And it looks to be the entire warehouse just got hit by a strike, and it looks like the entire facility is going up in blazes and clearly a massive amount of smoke. And as you can tell, there appears to be maybe even orange smoke in that. I'm going to go ahead and mute the video so I can talk over it. But as you can see right here, the orange right there is clearly indicating some type of rocket propellant that we can see right there in the smoke. And that would indicate as well that this might have been a ballistic missile storage site or something of that nature. But as we can see, it appears to have been destroyed, and a bunch of Iranians just standing on the side of the road right there watching it go up in blazes. So crazy footage indeed. And this guy that was filming, I guess, was on a bus or something and just happened to be filming at the exact moment it went off. So very lucky footage and very interesting to see as well. But with that, we're now moving into our next news article here, and this one goes to OSINT Defender, and we've also got some video of apparently an Iranian ballistic missile or interceptor that fell on the village in central Israel. So let's take a look at the footage. And right there you can see in the streets of central Israel, there's a missile or interceptor or some husk of something, and also a fellow over here trying to water it, it looks like. I guess he's trying to put the fire out, but there's, I don't know, I'm not sure if that's going to help. But anyways, you can see here that the interceptor or the ballistic is sitting right in the middle of the street. It looks like it caused a huge crater right there in the pavement as well where it impacted originally. So that's not what you want to see in your streets, is a husk of a missile sitting there. So I would suggest those individuals probably get away from that thing, because there's no telling what is wrong with it or what could happen in the future. But anyways, there it is right there in the middle of the streets in central Israel right this very second. So very interesting to see. But also, we did get another picture here showing it right next to a nice Mercedes right there. And also you can see there's the missile laying right next to it. So there it is, and apparently Ibton in Israel, according to the tag in the post right there. So with that, folks, we're now moving on to our next news article, and this one goes to Ariel Osseran. And also during the same attack by the Iranians on Israel, we did see a crazy piece of footage here showing an intercepted Iranian missile landing near unfazed camels in the Negev desert. And of course, the Negev desert is where one of Israel's nuclear sites is located. But as you can see in a minute, we're about to watch the video, one of the missile husks lands right next to these camels, and they don't appear to be fazed by it whatsoever. It appears to be a normal occurrence out here in the desert. But anyways, let's take a look at the footage. And as you see, look at that. There goes the missile husk right there falling right to the ground over here in the distance, and the camels just simply looked up and like, oh, okay, it's just another missile. But as you can see, it literally fell right there to the ground. Let's back that up and look at it one more time. There's the missile coming in right there at the very beginning, and there it is impacting right in the desert. So luckily it didn't land on people. It landed right out there in the dirt. But as you can see here, just a crazy piece of footage showing some of the debris coming down, and that's how fast it falls out of the sky. It's extremely fast, and if that were to hit you, that would obviously take you out. So that is quite dangerous. But once again, it looks like the Iron Dome did take that missile out, and there's proof of it. The husk of it falling right to the ground after it was intercepted. So very interesting footage to see as well. But with that, folks, it's now time to move on to our next news article here, and this one goes to Polymarket Intel. And also, you might remember us talking last night about the fires on the ships in the Gulf of Oman. We were trying to figure out exactly what was happening with that, whether or not it was an Iranian attack or maybe just an accident. But today we're getting some more information about the crash. So we're hearing that footage has captured the tanker, or one of the tankers, in flames in the Gulf of Oman after a serious collision with another tanker last night, and the point of impact is ablaze, and the large sections of ship is apparently burning intensely, and we do see that here in the footage. So it appears to be not an Iranian attack. It appears to be most likely a ship collision of a sort. So let's take a look at the footage and see the ship on fire. And there you can see, there appears to be one of the tankers with a humongous part of the hull right there, which appears to be cut open, and also a massive fire on the deck of the tanker. So we did get confirmation last night that something was burning. We saw it on the NASA firms map, and we also heard a report from a global management agency that apparently there was a collision of some sort, and we now see proof that apparently it was a collision, at least from what we can tell, but that's still early reporting, and we need some more information to figure out exactly what caused that. But once again, it looks like maybe a ship did maybe collide with it, but at the same time, though, that could also look like a missile impact, I guess you could say. So I'm not really sure. They're saying it's a collision, but I'll have to let you make up your minds on that one, and we'll have to see exactly what the case is when time reveals what the news actually says about the entire situation. So with that, folks, that is actually our last post of the day. And we hope you found this video informative, and also, if you want to, smack the like button to let us know you enjoyed the video and also enjoyed the coverage, and also do not forget to subscribe to the channel as well, because of course subscribing keeps you notified of our recent updates and also our live streams and video releases releases to get the breaking news as it happens minute by minute. Also, by the way, if you want to support our channel financially, you can do so on our Patreon page, and the link is in the description below for Patreon, where you can go over there and support the channel financially, which is a huge help, as of course, our channel is primarily crowdfunded by the viewers, and it's your viewer support that keeps our operations running and our channel ticking, and we do appreciate that very much. But with that, folks, we'll see you all tonight, or maybe even earlier, for a new live stream coverage of the events as they happen, and of course, there's a lot of breaking news coming up, so stay tuned for the rest of the news. But with that, thank you all, and bye-bye for now.